Hi everyone, Angelina Sparkling Diva, and I have an extra pick a card reading because we have the Summer Solstice. But this is not just Summer Solstice, this is also your summer season, so basically focusing on the period in between the summer solstice and the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August, because both events are very powerful. The Lion's Gate is always, well, I always feel the most powerful portal activation of the year, but the period in between is also very powerful. You've got a lot of energies building up, and it basically covers summer, right? The next 6 weeks. So we're going to look at what your summer is going to bring you, and including a bit of the summer solstice, etc. So I have 3 choices. A goldstone heart. Look at the sparkles, isn't that just cute? And this is selenite heart, and this is a black obsidian heart. So that's the choices. Just tune in, just feel, pause if need be, and I'm gonna start the reading. Alright, numbers 1, you're reading the first cards. If you've been with me for some time, then you know that every now and then I do a reading that has a theme of itself, like this one is for the summer and the summer solstice, but then I work with positions within that reading as well. And that's what I'm doing right now too. So these first 2 cards are your theme for this summer. We have the Lovers and we have the Rainbow Waterfall Miracles, 2 absolutely beautiful cards. And with the Lovers, it says that your summer is going to be much about setting yourself free, liberating yourself. And that happens by overcoming any attachment, any fear or patterns that don't serve you or don't serve you any longer, etc. Right? That kind of thing. And it is really coming into your own power, and by that setting yourself free. It is really also the opposite of the Devil's card, which is entirely right the opposite. It's about fear, latching on to, and afraid to let go, and so on and so forth. And this is the exact opposite of that. It's just letting go of all that stuff and coming in empowerment and liberation, and that freedom allows you to do an awful lot of things then. And so it's also in a balance, because of we see the woman and we see a man, and moon and sun, right? And then this is an oak tree and an apple tree, I think. So it's balance, inner balance as well, which is of course then the inner alignment, which is empowering and then in turn liberating. So beautiful card. It can of course also mean that you're gonna meet someone this summer. That is also possible. But in general, I'm going for the interpretation that I just gave. But that's a little extra for some, right? That may happen. Rainbow Waterfall Miracles is also about letting go of fear and doubt and seeing the miracles that happen around you, big or small ones. Right? Sometimes we only see the big ones, but this is also about seeing the small ones, because the more you see the small ones, are grateful for them, and open up your heart because of them then, and the easier the big ones start to come in as well. Law of attraction, that is basically. And you're specifically for the day of the summer solstice, so the 21st of June, and it will linger a bit longer. It's not like it's only that day and at midnight, poof, it's gone. No, it will linger on for at least a few days. The energy that you will feel, and possibly also before the solstice that you could feel, is Pentacles 2. Is trying to keep your inner balance, trying to keep your balance, and doing that by being flexible, going with the flow, even though the circumstances might not be the easiest, because she's on that rope, right, really high up, and there's all kinds of things flying around, and ships, and so it's not particularly easy, and also juggling these things, but doing it anyway. So in that sense, the energies of the solstice, you are at least doing what you can to go with them, to not resist them, even though it might not maybe be well easy or pleasant, these energies, the way they impact you. But just trying to just go with it, and that's usually the best way to deal with any difficult energy, intense energy or situation or whatever, right? Trying to keep your balance. So that's really good. I really like that. And now we're going to look at your next. Right, this is where you should be focusing your creative energy for the next 6 weeks. So from the solstice, there is a tiny bit of glare, which always annoys me, from the summer solstice until the Lion's Gate, which is that 7 weeks that this reading basically covers, right? So what should you be focusing your your creative energy on? We have the 10 of Pentacles and Moonlight enchantment magic. And with the 10 of Pentacles, it's important to see and fully realize all that you have achieved. Right? You're not a newbie. You've done a lot already. Right? There's 10 pentacles. You've gotten a lot already. And focus on being able to take care of yourself, creating a place where you feel safe and comfortable and at home, like that man has, right? This is his home, in his garden, and his loved ones around him. And loved ones, you can also see in a way, is what you have achieved, right? Because he has offspring and there's animals and he has the house and all that stuff. So this is also settling in where you are in life. And maybe you have been resisting something, and that can be a home, an area you live in, but it can also be more energetically, like feeling you haven't achieved any of your goals. Then pause and take stock to see and what you actually really did achieve. Because we can sometimes get so stuck in thinking, I still haven't manifested my dreams and my goals, and I haven't got this and that and the other, that we actually forget to see and appreciate what we have done, learned, achieved, and the wisdom we have gained, right? So again, like maybe you haven't manifested your dream, or the money isn't in the bank yet, maybe you haven't got that great lover yet. But what have you manifested and achieved concerning you? That's basically what this is about. You. What have you achieved for you? How have you grown? And also, how well can you take care of yourself? And that doesn't even have to be financial per se, but also just emotionally and psychologically, mentally, and so on. Right? And how strong have you gotten? Make sure you see that too. This is not so much about the external and material as it is about you. After all, as well, if you feel great inside and out, right, coming from the inside, you can then manifest and attract everything, because then you exude that vibe, and then the law of attraction will just pitch in and help out. And with the Moonlight card, it's a beautiful card. We see that wolf there howling at the moon, beautiful full moon. It says to tune into your intuition, open up to that, so that you will be able to receive the messages from your higher self, from spirit, from animals, animal guides that just dropped in. So maybe you have a special connection with an animal, a power animal, totem animal. Yeah, animals as well. So maybe you should pay attention to the animals you see around you whenever, right? Even when you're driving in a car, when you're walking, just birds or whatever other animal just pay attention. If you suddenly see ducks, well, ducks are usually around everywhere, right? But it doesn't mean to say that you notice them. And if you suddenly notice ducks everywhere, or they fly across the road all of a sudden right before your car or something, it's like, that's unusual. And then look up online the meaning of that. Just be open to that as well. But that's the message, to tune into your intuition, into your heart helps then, right, to get there. And so you can receive these messages and these your inner compass. You can then tune into your inner compass, and that will help you, guide you, And another message of this is to have fun, to activate your creativity and enjoy what comes from that. So that's also part of that message. That's what you should, both these messages is what you should focus on the coming 6 weeks. Now, this is peculiar. I forgot these 2 cards. They were actually the cards of the theme for your summer, but now reading them, they actually go with what you should focus on during the summer. Because here we have this inner compass that I spoke of just now with this, with the moon card, the magic enchantment, moonlight enchantment, magic. And I also mentioned fun, and with the, we have celebration, and celebrate your achievements. You truly are a gift to the universe, and the celebrations you achieve of your achievements, and seeing that was the message of the 10 of Pentacles. So it seems these 2 actually weren't meant to come out with your theme, but with what you should be focusing on your creative energy on for the coming 6 weeks. Yeah. So I suppose it always goes the way it should be. So anyhow, for the next question we have, let's first read that question. I do not know him by heart. What is reaching culmination within you from the first half of the year, right? Like the beginning of the year, you usually consciously or subconsciously want to plant seeds, let me put it that way. And so what is going to culminate within you from that period onwards? So from basically winter solstice on to, right, first half of the year. And then we have the Knight of Wands and the 10 of Swords. And you're getting ready to get going. The urge is getting stronger and stronger to whatever it is you want to manifest, that you want to do, whether it's money, health, sporting, moving more than, right? Losing weight, finding a lover, another job. It doesn't, or starting your own business or whatever, your own YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. What your dream is, you're getting ready for it. You're starting to feel it stronger and stronger. The urge is there. This is a very fast moving energy, right? He's rearing to go. Very fiery as well. And so you're ready to head towards the light from this 10 of Swords that you see here. And leave behind what you thought was going to crush you, maybe even. That's what you felt was really, really, really bad, disastrous, and you couldn't come over and couldn't overcome. But now you're ready to leave that behind. And because here it looks so bad, but if you only turn around, then you see that the sun is already coming up again, the clouds are clearing, and so on and so forth. And I do, to be honest, feel a sense of victimizing yourself with the swords of the 10 of Swords. And that doesn't mean to say that there wasn't something going on. You might have had very good reason to feel that way, right? That everything was going to smithereens. But there is also a possibility that you made that bigger than it actually was. And maybe at the time when it started happening, you couldn't see that yet. But now, with this energy as well, you can see that. But actually, okay, it wasn't pleasant for a while, but it wasn't as bad as you actually thought. So that kind of thing, right? That's the energy. So, but this is growing in you, the urge to get going and to let go, to pull out all these thoughts, to go to the light, and to maybe learn or just completely forget from whatever caused this situation. And this is a 10, right? A 10 is also an end of something, and a completion of a situation, of something. So, okay, let's go to your next cards. Then we have the... It's so peculiar to have a very fiery positive card and a not so positive card in essence, and we see that here again. Although the Tower is not negative at all, it can just be something we rather not see because, oh my god. Anyhow, we have the Star, as I said, and the Tower, and both are major arcana cards, and this is for what you have to release and let go of from that first half of the year. So you shouldn't let grow, and you shouldn't cultivate, you should actually be done with it. And what I feel, normally this is a very good positive card, but I feel here, in combination with the Tower, is that you were trying to basically stick your head in the sand with the Star to focus on something that does please you, and kind of hoping that then this won't happen or will just magically disappear or whatever. And so in that sense, you will have to let go of a tendency to avoid unpleasant things, confrontation, and or possibly even the thought and feeling that you cannot deal with upheaval or that you have no control over things. But if that's what resonates for you, that you have this thing that you tend to have that, right? And not having control, not having a say in things, and that stuff just happens to you, etc., etc. Which actually could explain that victimhood thingy that I was talking about there. Interesting. And not in a very pathetic way of being a victim. That's not what I mean. Not what I meant. But if that resonated with that control thingy, then try to remember is that Abraham Hicks always says that everything that is important to you, you have control over. Which basically means if you can't control it, it's not so important to you. It's none of your business, likely, even, or you just have to trust the universe to do the right thing and that it will work out. And but don't turn your head and hope it will just vanish. Don't just, start doing all the lovely, wonderful, maybe spiritual stuff, whatever it is that you like to do, and just to ignore this. Turn your back, right? She's got her back turned to the Tower. You have to deal with this. A Tower moment is something you usually cannot avoid. Not by turning your back to it, ignoring it, not. You have to deal with it, whether you like it or not. And the sooner you deal with it, the sooner it might be gone, and then everything might crumble. So your entire world might feel as if your entire world is falling to pieces. But then you can start building from the proper foundations that actually can and do support you now, who you are now. Sometimes we need that kind of, intense clearing. Yeah. Right, so we're moving to the next one. Hang about, I forgot that. This is also saying that you have to let go of fear to be strong, to be seen, to stand tall. Right? And what I just said as well, let go of course of fear, but also of a bit of victimhood in a way that you have no control. You do have control, but you don't have any control when you do this, when you turn your back to it and, kind of stick your head in the sand and pretend it's not whatever it is not happening. So that tendency to do stuff like things that way when there is trouble on the horizon, that's what you have to let go of. And maybe you indeed have something that was going on for the last half year. Then you have to let go of that and deal with that, right? In the right way, turning around and facing it. Right, the last question. So only a few cards left. If you do the work, what will you be able to harvest at the end of that season of these 6 weeks, right? So around the Lion's Gate, mid-August. Then we have the Queen of Wands and we have the Knight of Pentacles. This Queen of Wands I find one of the most beautiful ones in any tarot deck I've ever seen. It's absolutely stunning. I love her. Anyhow, happiness. I mean, just look at that Queen, you will feel great, inspired, empowered, confident, and in touch with your passions and your dreams. And because that's all what this Queen is about, right? And she's so beautiful and radiant and confident. Look at her. I mean, wow. And with the Knight of Pentacles, also like this card. This is beautiful. I love this deck, by the way. But anyhow, you are willing to go for it. Whatever it is your dream is, what you want to achieve, what you want to do, whether it's losing weight or getting more muscular, getting a lover, getting a new job, it doesn't matter. So you're really willing to go for it and to work hard, and but you're not rushing it. And you're also not just going for whatever comes along, right? That's not going to be good enough. You know what you want. It has to resonate. It has to make your heart jump for joy. Because especially with that Queen. But he's also not like that. This is not a fast-moving energy. She is, but also not necessarily, because Queens are the passive side of this. The King is the active side more. But anyhow, this is not fast moving, and he's also not going to put his foot in something. He's going to make sure it is something he wants, especially when combined with the Queen of Wands, right? She's not going to go for something that doesn't suit her, that doesn't make her happy, and So that's where you will be at by the end of this period of this season, if you do that work, what we just talked about, right? What you should let go of with the Star and the Tower. So then you will get to this, which is actually really beautiful, because he kind of tempers the fire of this Queen. So you don't rush into something that might at first seem to be resonating, but then later on turns out not to be all that right for you at all. And with this energy, that won't happen. So it's a beautiful combination. I really like it. And then we have the happiness card. Right, so this is also for what you will be able to harvest at the end of summer. The Blue Bird Spirit, happiness, absolutely wonderful card to end with. Also says that, by that time, if you do the work, you will be happy, embracing life, you will have fun, you will be celebrating life, you will see all the beauty that there is around you and live from the heart. And it's important to have happiness in life, to experience joy in life, and that and it just goes well with that Queen, really. It's just a happy, loving vibe, sharing, giving, receiving, and just happiness all around. Pleasure, also taking pleasure in sharing and giving, and that I feel is also energy of that the Queen of Wands. And so the message to live fully now, Not tomorrow, not in the future, not like if only this, that, and the other, then I will, blah, blah, blah. No, live now, be happy now, right? And find joy in whatever. There's always joy, pleasant stuff, beautiful things everywhere you go, no matter what. So, and then we have two, oh, I'm dropping it on the floor. Two of these tiny little cards, also for what you will then have by the end of the season. Intuition. Trust your intuition. It has been guided. It has been guiding you to to the answers that you seek. Really handy. I'm reading from my phone screen. That's why I'm. Anyhow, guidance. You are not alone. You are guided by masters and teachers of the highest realms. So yeah, this is what I have for you. I do hope it resonated. It is absolutely beautiful reading, very positive, and wishing you a wonderful summer solstice and summer as well, of course. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Right, numbers 2, your first 2 cards. This reading has a theme, right? The solstice, the summer period, etc. But I'm using positions, questions now within this reading as well. And the first one, I have to check, I don't know by heart, is of course, the theme for your summer. Now look at that. We have the 2 of Cups. And we have Wild Rose Fairy Love. Isn't that beautiful? And that can, of course, mean that there is a romantic love connection around the corner, very close by. If you're in a relationship, it can mean that there's going to be an awful lot of love and romance this summer between the 2 of you. Things are going to go really well. Absolutely positive. So this summer is all about love, but this is also self-love. It's not just romantic love, it's also self-love. And also loving connections with other people, so family, friends, whatever. Your entire vibe is actually about that this summer. And just absolutely wonderful, beautiful vibe. And a bit of playfulness I feel with this, right? It is a wild rose fairy, and I got a wild rose in my garden. It was really very tiny, and I felt sorry for it, and I decided to salvage it and put it in a better place. And it got completely out of hand. Its branches really get meters long, you know. It's just like, what are you doing? So that kind of energy, it is wild, it is unruly, and not damaging or anything. There's just a bit of this, a tiny bit of naughty, bit of playful. I like it, yeah. So that is your theme for the summer. Oh, it must be a glorious summer for you, I think. And this is your the energy for you on the summer solstice day and a few days after that as well, because the energy isn't gone at midnight, of course. And we have the Hermit, and with this summer solstice energy, and you could have noticed that possibly as well the days leading up to it, you will withdraw a little bit, either consciously or you will feel like withdrawing from the external and go into your inner sanctuary. And sometimes it's also really good to do that, to kind of shut the world and other people and other people's influences, just a bit, shut them out a bit for a while. There's nothing wrong with that. It means you can stay closer to you, to your center, your own energy, and especially during intense energies, incoming energies, as with the summer solstice, that can be a very good thing to do. Right, this is your where you should focus your energy during the next period, the next 6 weeks. Your creative energy, where should you focus that? And then we have Judgment, with the beautiful phoenix behind the woman who's coming out renewed, reborn out of rising from the cauldron. I think red wins cauldron, but I'm not entirely certain, and the Three of Cups. And this is about getting back into the flow of your soul calling. And you do that by surrendering, by stopping any struggle and being done with the way things are going or were going and turning towards the new with expectancy and readiness to really get going in that direction. And that surrendering automatically makes space, which is why you can then get back into the flow, right? Because if you create space, a new door can open and the old door will get closed, and you can be like this, reborn, enthusiastic, ready to go, cleansed, ready for the new. And then also ready to get back into your flow. So maybe for whatever reason you got out of your flow, and now you can go back into it, and that's what you should focus on, right? And the Cups 3, it is always great, but especially now also very helpful to surround yourself with loved ones, people you resonate with, people you that support you, that you can have fun with as well, right? Because they're really having fun celebrating. At the same time, this also speaks of spiritual growth and learning to use your gifts and your talents, and let your heart and your intuition guide you in that. So there's two messages with this, and I think it's especially about your gifts and talents and learning to use them, the spiritual growth, but at the same time also enjoying, having fun, socializing. And then we go to the card that we also have with this one. So that's also where you should focus your energy during this period. Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. Make sure you keep focused on loving and positive vibes. And then if you do that, you will get a huge spurt of energy that will help you on your path. And it's also also a message of expansion and success, and you really blooming, it's all really very positive, but this is what you have to focus on, right, during the summer, on getting there, getting back in the flow, learning to use your talents and to spiritually grow, and so on and so forth, and to keep yourself positively focused. So if you notice you're not doing that anymore for whatever reason, take a moment to step back from whatever and realign yourself to positive thoughts and good vibrations, etc. Because otherwise it makes it more difficult, right? You just went through this entire process, or you can get through this process if you focus on that, if you work on that, to get back into the flow. But if you get caught in negative thinking and start watching the news too much and all that stuff, then you lose that flow again, right? That's the first thing that happens when you get caught in negativity and media and news and all that stuff. Your flow stops. So be aware of that. Right, this is, let's see, what will be reaching culmination within you from the last half year. So from the first half of this year. Basically from the winter solstice, right? But, okay, so we have the Knight of Swords and we have the King of Cups. This is really fast moving energy, the Knight of Swords. So things moving fast towards where you want to go. There are no more diversions. You know what you want, and you're going after it with enthusiasm, right? You're ready for it. And other people may not even understand what you're doing. They may try to talk you out of it because they might think that you're, off on the wrong thing, but you know you know what's best for you. And even if they lovingly, it's often people who love us the most and worry and all that stuff and don't understand what we're actually doing. But this is really, you have the determination and you know what's best for you. And you will follow your own inner guidance and your soul calling. There is no more diversions. You really, look at this. You can see this is fast. This is just, yeah, I'm going for it. And you do all that from the heart with the King of Cups. And this is what you have learned, mastered, and to source and express and create from the heart. Because that's what the King of Cups does. He's the king of the suit of emotions and feelings, right? So he's mastering that. He has learned all about that. So he can source, express, create, act from the heart with love, from the heart space. So the feelings are there. He just doesn't let them control stuff, right? He doesn't do drama. That's just not him. He's very sensitive, intuitive, but like I said, able to keep his emotions. And for you, then this is about you. So able to keep your emotions in check, which can also make you very diplomatic if need be, if the situation calls for it, and a good leader. So depending on what it is you're after or what you have to deal with, that is really handy, isn't it? If you can deal with people and be very, very determined and not get digress from what you want, but still being very diplomatic when it comes to people or situation, whatever. It's absolutely wonderful. I like it. I hope you do too, because it's your reading. Now, here we have 2 cards about what you have to let go of, release from this first half of the year. So what has already been then, right? And then we see, I'm reading these simultaneously, these 2 cards. We have the 10 of Cups and we have the 7 of Wands. And there was struggle, competition, possibly conflicts, conflicting situation, feeling you have to defend yourself concerning whatever it is that you really love and desire. And this could, for instance, be your dream, what you're after. And and that has disturbed your inner sense of peace and joy and your stability as well. And it actually gets you out of the flow if you're in this energy, right? And that flow is what we talked about here, getting back in the flow. So it really, really goes together. Because this summer you have to focus on getting back in the flow, but then you have to stop doing this. You have to stop doing the competing, struggling, defending, whatever it was going on the last half year. Stop doing that, because then you will not get in the flow. It will keep you out of it. And it will not make you any more stable either, right? And so you really have to stop that and remove yourself, if necessary, from any situation or people or dynamics that have you do this, that make you do that. And that goes back to what the Meadow says. Focus on the positive and your own calling. I believe it was the Meadow card. Yeah. All right. This is what you will be, the last question. What you will be able to harvest at the end of the season if you do the work, right? So if you let go of what we just discussed. And then we have the 6 of Pentacles, and then we have the 8 of Pentacles, and the 7 isn't there, right? We skip that. We go from 6 straight to 8. And the 7 is about waiting, patience. You can't do anything much. Nothing much is happening. Well, stuff is happening, but you have to wait for the seeds to come above ground, etc., etc. And we skip that. That's good. I like that. although sometimes it's necessary, of course. Anyhow, um, the Six of Pentacles, you're going to be, if you do that work, right, the letting go of what we just discussed, you will be, by the end of summer, capable of equal give and receive, and you will have joy in both. And the receive is actually for many people the most important part, because we usually can give, but we have difficulty receiving, because for receiving your heart has to be opened, otherwise you can't really receive, you can't let it in. So equal give and take, give and receive. And when you are there in that vibration, then the giving itself becomes receiving. But also when someone gives to you, you can let it into your heart. And that's wonderful. Such a glorious feeling. And you don't take things for granted. You value your relationships as well. And yeah, it's just really a beautiful place to be. Look at the scales. It's absolutely beautifully balanced. And with the Eight of Pentacles, you take responsibility for your life. And you are working diligently with passion on what you want to create. You're just fine-tuning it and just working on it. I mean, look at what he's already made, and he's still at it. It's beautiful. And it brings you joy. And it is also recharging your batteries to do this. And it's like being in your own sanctuary, but still be active. And then it's sanctuary again that we had here. We just see that here as well in a way, right? He's home. And there is this folding door or room screen or whatever in front of the window or the door. So he has privacy, and yeah, it is a bit like a sanctuary and still doing your own thing and having fun at that. And the last card, also for the same question of what you will be able to harvest, then we have the air spirit, knowledge, and that also again speaks of positive focus. And apart from that, it also says that it's a good time to start something new. And it also has, if you do, a very good chance of succeeding as long as you stay focused and positive and act from the heart. Which is beautiful, because that is, again, the new stuff, right? Cleansed, ready for something new. And now, was I right? Yeah, we had the King of Cups earlier on. So acting, doing from the heart. It's just, it all comes together. I love that when that happens so clearly in a reading. In any case, hang about. 2 more cards. I'm going to stick them in for you. The signs and fruition. The universe has been gently nudging you forward by revealing you signs and synchronicities. So pay attention to that. You apparently will get signs, right? And fruition, rest assured, your dreams and visions will come to fruition. So this is also still for what you will be able to harvest at the end of the season. Well, wonderful. Very great positive reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Right, number 3. For this reading, I'm using certain questions, right? So this is, for instance, the theme of your, not this one, sorry about that. The theme of your summer. Now I must make sure that I'm sticking in the right one. Yes, I am. We have the Ace of Wands, and we have the Phoenix Transmutation. Beautiful cards. You're going to feel lit up, inspired with that one, right? It's rearing to get going. And there will be renewal, a new beginning, because it's an ace. Aces are always about new beginnings. And that is confirmed by this Phoenix with the transmutation. Life is changing, and possibly in ways that you did not expect. But it's going to be wildly beautiful. And it is something big. And it can be that for a while you think it's just chaos and no good and what's going on, that kind of stuff, right? But that's only just the clearing of the old before the new can come in. Like, it's very much like the phoenix. The phoenix rises from its ashes, renewed, reborn, cleansed, transmuted, and all that, And so he has to burn completely, go through the fire. And when he's in there, well, it's quite chaotic, isn't it? and and so it takes this in order to get the new, etc. So that's wonderful. And then we have that card that I put in prematurely. That's your summer solstice vibe. So the way you will feel or experience the energies of the summer solstice, which is on the day itself, can also have been leading up to the solstice, which is on Monday the 20th, and can also be the days after, right? Because these energies linger, they're not just gone at midnight. So we have the full, and also a new beginning, a transformation, right? We have transmutation, transformation, new beginning for the third time, basically. And it's also daring to go, even though you may not know the outcome exactly, because he's here, he's about to fall off that cliff, but he's gonna go anyway. He trusts, he has faith in himself, and also in, well, the universe, that the universe will not let him fall into his demise. And that faith will bring you exactly where you will want to be. And that can be literally, it can also be figuratively. And that transformation, transmutation, we can also see with the butterflies there, right? So this is about that. We're going to your next cards. Oh no, hang about. I keep forgetting with every set that I have these two. So these are also for your theme of summer. We have patience. Be patient and allow destiny to unfold at its own pace. And stillness, reflect on this moment with love, kindness, and compassion. So that comes with the Phoenix card and the Ace of Wands that we have, your theme of the summer. Now we're moving to the next question. This is where you should be focusing your creative energy for the next 6 weeks. So from the solstice until the Lion's Gate on the 8th of August, which basically spans most of the summer period. So where should you focus your creative energy? Then we have the 3 of Pentacles and we have the 5 of Wands. Very interesting combination. And the funny thing is, these cards came out and I put them back because I wasn't certain they were the right cards. So I put them back in the pile, not together, right? Separated. And I started shuffling again, and I usually work with jumping cards. So the card that jumps out the pile while I shuffle is the card I need. So I shuffle again, and lo and behold, these 2 cards that were not together when I put them back in the pile, in the deck, came out together in one go for the second time. So I thought, okay, that's clear. This is really the cards that I need to have for you, for where you have to focus your energy. So it means that you have to focus on your vision and your dream, whatever it is that is, right? And manifesting it and making it tangible, because that's what this man is doing, right? He might have had a dream of an angel, or maybe it's a giant bird, whatever, and he is making it real by carving it out of marble, right? So it becomes tangible, it becomes visible, it is there. And while you do that, while you start working on that, making it real, meaning that's also if you do not make a tangible something, right? It's still taking action. It's about taking action, starting doing it, starting manifesting it. When you do that, it can happen that you come across conflict, which is that card. And that conflict can be both on the outside as well as on the inside within you then, right? And since we had that transmutation and the transformation, basically sort of the same thing with the Fool, well, it makes sense that you have to deal with and overcome certain patterns and behaviors that don't serve you and this vision, right? So you might indeed come across inner conflict, inner turmoil, because we have, there is a transmutation for you, a new start, a new beginning. So focus on this. This is what is important for you for the summer. And just knowing that this could happen, and then just deal with it, right? No one is winning, no one is losing, so it's not really all that bad. It's just you have to deal with it, right? And whatever it is, whatever it's about. And let's see, there was one more card for this. Yeah, I had a... there was a third card for you that also wants to come out for the other sets. I only had two here. Come on. Yeah, the world. And just don't you love that? I personally find this one of the most beautiful world cards of all the tarot decks I have. The world is about completion, about getting there and feeling all the wonderful feelings of joy that come with that when you've done it, when you're, when this is completion. And through this journey, you have grown, gotten wiser, you learned a lot. And if you were doing what you were doing a bit more privately, which I feel in a way is more for this question. So if you were first working, like maybe he was working privately on that angel, right? It is now possible, good, when you have overcome that, basically, to come out in the open, to not do it so privately anymore. Yeah. So this is also the bit about completion and so on and so forth, but I feel the other bit is actually more powerful for this question in this reading. That if you've been doing this more behind closed doors at first, and maybe also still was struggling with this for a while, and then when that's done, then it's time to also come out in the open with what you are actually doing. Right? And now we're going to move to the next question. Right, this is for the question, what is reaching culmination within you from the first half of this year, right? So what has been growing, developing, and what is now going to reach culmination, that was actually simmering for the first half of this year. And then we have the Page of Wands and the Four of Wands. Beautiful cards. And this is about the urge to create and to follow your dreams and to explore and having that spark of enthusiasm. I mean, just look at that girl, right? And it is possible that you lost that for a while, but it is what drives you, that spark, that urge, that enthusiasm and passion for your dream and goal. And it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be about starting a business. It can also be about starting to take better care of your body and your emotional, mental well-being. It can just be just about anything that is your dream, and what you want to do. And so it could be that you had lost that drive for a while, and now it's coming back, it's growing, it's expanding, it's culminating. And this is a time, as you can see, right? The dancing and this and everything is basically a time of having joy and sharing and celebrating. And you can already as well reap the fruits. You can't really see it very well, I think, but there are fruits in the background. So you can already reap fruits of your labor. And it's also a good time to replenish yourself. But this also says that your joy at what you're doing and creating will increase, which will recharge you as you keep going, right? Yeah. So the joy of what you do, what you want to create, that is also growing and yeah, wonderful. I like it. It's really quite fiery because these are ones, right? Both cards. And now we're gonna look at your next. Right, this is what you, the question what you should let go of that was actually prevalent in the past half year. So the first half of the year. What energies, dynamics, etc. should you let go of? And then we have the Emperor card and the Justice card, two major arcana cards. So what I get from this is being too much in the head and too structured in your way of thinking and the way you want or want it to proceed. And it is, of course, some structure is good, but what will really get you going and keep you going and will bring in the results you're after is an inner drive, inspiration. It's basically more that, right? And not so much the mental route. The more mental route will not work out for you if you start following that, if you start trying that, using that. And if you feel a bit stuck in that, trying to think your way to your vision, then it can become a hindrance. It can start to block your inspiration. Like I said, it's okay to have a bit of a structure and routine, etc., to not just dive into something without thinking, right? But if it's too much, then it actually really can become a hindrance. Like, I'll give you an example. What I think can happen or happens quite often to people when they have a drive, an urge, a desire, inspiration, and something that really calls them, but then they get into the thinking of and worrying about that as well. Like, how can I make money with that? How do I pay the bills? I can't, I must, and then if you get caught in that, it can throw you entirely off track. And then you get nowhere. Then you start turning around in circles and chasing your own tail, and it's not leading anywhere. So that's basically what I feel with these two cards, what they're saying, what you should release from the last half year. If you recognize that tendency, right, to be too much in the head. And again, a bit of structure and of course common sense and thinking is necessary. But you need to move forward from inspiration, from your soul calling, from your inner drive. Then you will get there and then the money will come. Right? So, all right, we go to your last cards. And then we have the Four of Swords and the Ace of Swords. And this is what you will be able to reap, harvest by the end of the season. So around the beginning of August, mid-August, if you do that work that we just talked about with the other cards. This is really very important. It's about taking time for yourself, and as you do so, trusting that the universe will have your back. And to phrase that slightly differently, it's taking a break, time for you, and trusting that what you have achieved and build will not collapse while you do this, while you have your break. And that is really trusting and surrendering. It's trusting the universe, but it's also trusting yourself and what you have built. If you constantly think of fear that is gonna, as soon as you turn your back to it because you have to do something else for a minute, or you need a day off or something, that if you constantly think that it will then fall apart, well, then you're not trusting it, right? And that's not good. That's not something that you can maintain for years on end. You will end up with a burnout. So, yeah, this is absolutely beautiful energy. If you can indeed be there by the end of the season, to have that trust and to be able to do that and not worry, right? If you take a week off or something, or don't do anything towards your goal for a bit, it's just gonna be gone. And that's beautiful. And with the ace, after this, you can move forward again with the ace, replenished and rested, and with newly gained clarity, because that's what this is about, on what, how, and where to go, and what to do, etc., etc. This is fast-moving energy. And this isn't, of course, right? This is resting, taking time off, etc. This is going for it again. This is fast moving with clarity, rejuvenated, and determination. Meaning you will not deviate, you will not stray, you will go straight for your goal and your dream and continue with it, right? And after you had a very much deserved break. But the essence of this card, again, is not just having a break, right? But it's having that trust that you can take a break without a problem. Very important. Really, really very important. And let's see. Then we have this transformation again. Isn't that amazing? We had the Fool, and right, we had the Fool, didn't we? And the Phoenix transmutation, and now again this. Unbelievable. Yeah. And this again speaks of well, of course, that there is a huge transformation, a huge change for the better then, right? Going on in your life, or you're it's starting, or you're in the middle of it, or, well, that, or you're at the completion, so near the end. So likely, because this is the question for what will you be able to harvest by the end of the season, you likely will have, well, reach the completion or very close to it. Again, this speaks of it is possible that you feel that is just chaos and everything is falling apart, which I also mentioned with the Phoenix card, right? And that's part of that change, of that enormous transformation, of that change. It's like what it says is that with the butterfly as a caterpillar, when it weaves its chrysalis, I'm not so sure how you pronounce that, it then completely dissolves inside that in some kind of liquid soup. I never knew. And then it reforms into the shape of a butterfly. So it's basically, it's just as intense as the phoenix, because the phoenix entirely burns and then rises from its ashes. So it also burns completely, and the caterpillar turns into a kind of liquid soup inside its cocoon. So its shape, its everything it was, is completely gone, unrecognizable. And then this gorgeous, beautiful butterfly comes out of it. So that means that it can, while that is going on, it can be like, oh my God, what's happening? Everything is falling apart, and this is not good. But then it's also only just part of that. You will come out as the butterfly. And then the last two cards I have for you, two of these small ones. We have Gaia, connect to the pulse of Mother Earth. She will guide you through this time of change. Wow, again, change. Amazing. And transcendence. Transcend your mind's limitations and allow your soul's light to truly shine. So, all beautiful cards, very positive. None of the sets was actually like, because that can happen, right? They were all very positive, all different, but very positive. Yours is as well. So I hope you're gonna have a wonderful summer. Wishing you a beautiful summer solstice, and thank you for watching. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.